Hello everyone, we are so excited about the new mobile app we just launched. It is available right now on the links below on both Android and Apple. We are super excited, right babe?
We are so excited, and don't forget our website. We have a brand new website that goes right along with this mobile app. That link is also down below in the description box for you. Download this app. It is going to impact you so positively.
Absolutely. So we hope you enjoy the show. We love you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry.
And I'm Angel.
And we have got an unbelievable show for you today. One of my favorites. I can't wait to make it.
Yes, we are going to make a gluten-free, soy-free, nut-free pita bread, lickety-split. Don't worry, it's going to puff and be beautiful and soft and scrumptious and smell so good. And we're going to make it so quickly. And we are going to stuff that pita bread with a chickpea Buffalo Ranch Salad. So all of this was derived one morning in a little bit of a jiffy, and it was kind of great because now we know that we can make pita bread so quickly. So we will share that story with you, but before then I just want to quickly because this is gluten-free, so we're going to make our gluten. So I want to quickly get the psyllium husk into the warm water so it can make a jelly. I use warm water out of my tap because our water in our home is all filtered. We have a big filtration system for all of our water in this house. If you're not comfortable with water out of your tap, do it your way. Just get the water warm. I would imagine that this water is somewhere between 110 and 120 degrees, but that's not really important. Don't get your little, just warm water works. Okay, so 1 cup of warm water to 2 tablespoons of psyllium husk. So that's how we're just gonna start. I'm just gonna drizzle this husk. Psyllium husk powder. So the powder and the husk are very different. So for this, I'm using the powder. The powder is fine. I would use the powder. So I often say psyllium husk because I always use the powder, and I'm like, darn it, I want to be clear that I'm using powder. Okay. So I just kind of dump it in there and I just zhuzh it around a little bit.
And this mimics the gluten?
It basically mimics the gluten, yes, honey, because it gets kind of like a jelly.
Yeah,
kind of, and it's already starting. There's really no amount of time that I have for you to leave this in here. I would sometimes I'm in such a rush, I just dump them in there and then I have big clumps. And don't stress about it. I just so in here I have a few lumps. I don't know if you can see it. It's not that big of a deal, but it's already starting to gel up. See?
Yeah, I see. Wow.
So that just happens 1, 2, 3. So
That's
let's
cool.
say you have this in this bowl for, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes or something. Honey, we can put this in the sink.
Okay.
Okay. And so while I do that first, put that together, and then I just start measuring out my gluten-free flours and everything that I need, and I just put it in a food processor. So this recipe was derived one morning, not that long ago. Terry and our son were going to a charity golf outing, and they were going to be gone all day. And why I woke up in the morning and it dawned on me, my son is vegan and celiac, so gluten-free. You know how Terry eats from all these years. So it dawned on me, oh my gosh, the only thing plant-based at a golf outing is going to be the tomato and onion that they put on top of the burger. What is my family?
She was right.
What is my family going to do with all those hamburgers, hot dogs, beer, whatever? So donuts. So I said to Terry, oh my gosh, what are you going to eat? Oh, don't worry about it. I'll eat some fruit on the way there. Yeah. So that went in one ear and out the other. And I had been trying to get inspired around looking at a ton of pita bread recipes. So a lot of them were, let this proof for 2 hours. Some were 4 hours. I came across one that was 24 hours, and then you put it in the fridge for 4 days. And I was like, wow, because when I I'm sure those recipes, I'm not picking on those recipes. I'm sure they're delicious, but if I want to eat a pita bread on a Friday or a Saturday or a Monday or a Wednesday, I don't want to have to think about it 4 days ahead of time because my life just doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And I'm sure your life doesn't either. So that morning I had approximately 1 hour to get something together, even though Terry was saying no, for my son and my husband. And so this is what I did, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened.
It was unbelievable.
So,
Oh
even my son, he's pretty picky. He's not thrilled about gluten-free stuff. He said everything is like a cracker, you know, just like not the way he grew up, all Italian, eating things that are chewy and doughy. And so he called me that evening. I mean, he had to make a phone call and said, wow, this is incredible. And then he said, I'm going to bring the other half, because like any Italian mother, I packed lots. And I'm going to bring the other half of this sandwich for work tomorrow. And then he texted me from work the next day and said, do you believe this pita is still soft and not soggy? So there you go. All right. So what I did, and I'm going to let Terry be Vanna today because he's a great looking Vanna. And I used 1 cup of millet flour. So you can get millet flour almost anywhere. I bought this one, any brand. I bought that one at Whole Foods. And I put everything into a food processor because on that morning I didn't have time to knead. And a lot of times I don't like kneading anyway. My hands get tired. And then I used 2/3 of a cup of tapioca flour. So there's that. You can buy that anywhere too. Pretty easy to find. A lot of the recipes that I came across, I wish I knew which one had inspired me the most because I would say inspired by. I apologize. I can't remember. I looked at so many. But every recipe calls for sugar. And as you know, we don't use sugar in our recipes. So in place of sugar, oh, I'm sorry, Vanna. I use this pure maple sugar, and the only ingredients in here are pure organic maple syrup, but it's actually sugar. So I use this, and that's how I got my maple sugar. So that's my sugar component, or in my mind, that was what was going to be my sugar component. So 2 teaspoons of that, and then the yeast is important. Because instant yeast, all yeasts are different, but I use the instant yeast. So if you're going to make this, use the instant yeast. 1 teaspoon of instant yeast. Notice how I'm not putting anything together and letting it fuzz up. I just didn't have time for that, and it worked. So I'm not going to be worrying about it. This is probably one of the only dishes that I would use salt in. I'm telling you, when you go out and you buy bread and a loaf, I don't care whose brand it is, pita, you know, tortillas, they all have salt in them. And I've tried to make breads without salt, and they're lackluster, I would say. I try, and I've done it, but for this, I just use 1/2 teaspoon of this Celtic sea salt. I've had this bag forever. Because I don't use salt and stuff really. But if I am going to use a salt for like a bread or something, I use a Celtic. Why? Because it's not processed. The only kind of processing that is done with Celtic salt is the drying and basically the grinding of the salt, because they like to preserve the minerals from the ocean water. So if you read about Celtic salt, so to me, this is dried ocean water, and that's just the way I look at it, and it makes this taste great. So 1/2 teaspoon. If you don't want the salt, leave it out. I mean, but
it's only 1/2 teaspoon, but to your point,
leave it out. I just wanted to explain to you why and when I use it. And then 1 tablespoon of water, boom, all in the food processor. It goes, and then I just want to incorporate these ingredients and get them kind of mixed together. So I'm just going to pulse this a few times and get all the flours and the yeast, the maple sugar, everything just kind of blended. Kind of like when you put your dry ingredients in a bowl. And you can do this in a bowl if you want to. And if you love to knead, this is a wonderful dough to knead. But it's not really my thing, you know. So then show them the our lovely mixture there.
There you go. See how it just kind of gelled up?
Yeah.
It's really kind of like jelly.
Like jelly, and that's our gluten for this. So we're just gonna dump that jelly. See how it is? We're just gonna dump that jelly right on top of our flour.
Our man-made gluten.
Our man-made gluten, I love it. And the psyllium husk is actually good for you because it's just a great source of fiber. So amazing. So that's that. I get all that in there. Trying to get that gel off there. Okay. And then I'm just gonna turn this on and I'm gonna let it blend together and basically knead the dough for probably 2 or 3 minutes. So here we go. Okay. Well, we're gonna call that 3 minutes. So that was 3 minutes of kneading. I'm gonna actually take this off of here because I wanna show you.
Smells good.
Oh, it does. You know, like fresh yeast, how it smells?
Yes, fresh bread.
So that's basically what it is. I never scraped down the sides or did anything. I guess this is when the greatest recipes are derived, when you're stressed and rushing and worried about your family.
The dough tastes so. Well, my grandmother used to make homemade bread. It used to smell just like this.
Oh,
look at that.
Oh, I love that. It brings back those memories. But see how it acts like gluten?
Yeah, that's incredible.
See how it just stretches and acts like gluten? Anyway, I'm going to put this out onto a clean surface. I just got this great big cutting board out here, and this dough is like nice and warm. And I'm going to get it all out of here so we can make as many pitas as we can. I have been using this dough and making 6 pitas out of it, but there's obviously no science to it, and I'm not measuring it, and I just try to get as close as I can to what I think will work.
It's incredible with, you actually made the gluten and how the elasticity in the dough is just incredible.
Yeah, it's so cool to know that you can actually make something.
And this bread does not taste gluten-free. I know it is gluten-free. I know it is, but the taste was incredible.
And it's so soft. I don't.
Yes.
I can't explain. So when I take it out of there, I wish you could feel this ball of dough and just see how. I mean, hopefully you can see.
Yeah, hopefully you can see.
But it's just warm and pliable and perfect. So what I'm going to do is really quickly make a little log out of it so I can try to cut as even pieces as I can. So I'm just rolling this right now on my clean surface, which happens to be a cutting board. You use whatever.
You make that look so easy, babe.
Well, I'm rolling. All you got to do is roll back and forth. Terry's always my biggest fan. Always will be.
If this was me, it wouldn't look that easy. I'll tell you that right now.
It really is because it's warm and it's so pliable. This is so easy to work with.
Magic fingers.
So I don't know how long this is or what it is, but that's what it looks like.
Maybe 12 inches, maybe.
You think?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So then I've been making 6, so I'm gonna stick with 6, and I'm gonna try to eyeball them. So I'm just gonna score the dough. That's 2, 3, 4. Does that look about right, honey?
Yep.
Okay.
Good job.
So I'm just gonna, where I scored the dough, I'm just gonna cut. I just score the dough just in case I'm really off, and then I can go back and, some of them are a little bit bigger and smaller. I mean, come on, this is rustic. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you wanna kind of fold. So here's the most important thing. I have long nails. Probably the best thing for me to do would be to put gloves on, because these will not puff if you get air holes in them. So when you have longer nails or you poke stuff, it's easier to get holes in them. So I'm basically just turning the insides in, kind of like how you would do a dumpling or something. And then I'm gonna roll it, put it over on its other side, and then roll it, because you don't want any cracks. You want it to be smooth and nice. So this is pretty pretty smooth, pretty nice. Okay?
Okay.
And then we're just gonna...
Again, you make that look easy.
Then we're just gonna set it aside. I'm gonna put a clean, dry kitchen towel on it so that I can get them all done because I don't want this stuff to start drying out. So I'm just gonna, like I said, turn the sides in a little bit. There's, you know, I'm trying to keep my nails away from it. And then once I get everything turned in, kind of like a dumpling, I wouldn't be a good dumpling maker. Then I'll turn it over on its side. I'll roll it, putting a little pressure. It's rolling around in my hand like a ball. And I'm just trying to get rid of all the cracks or anything that I might have in it, holes.
Now, babe, you've made pitas before?
No.
No? So
Maybe 100 years ago.
how did you, I'm just trying to think, like, how did you conceptualize?
Well, I had been reading a lot of recipes and getting inspiration. And that morning I was so stressed and what have you, and I just had to like figure it out. I had to, and because I didn't have any choice. Otherwise, well, I mean, I could have made because the chickpea ranch salad was a new too. So it was all new, all on the same day. But I could have made that and I could have put it on lettuce. But I don't know. I just wanted them to have, I don't know, I guess whatever it was. And you just kind of wing it and you go along with it. But you know, just from making bread in the past or any other kind of thing, that you do need to keep your bread moist. You don't want it to get a crust. And I have made bread and rolls in the past. I was just kind of using those same concepts.
Got you.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, it turned out beautifully.
Yeah, it was
incredible. And I'm glad we can share it.
I'm glad we can share it too. That's why we got so excited to share it. So I'm going to get these last 3 done. And then we're going to show you what the next step is. All right. So that completes the 6 balls of dough. They're not all the same size, but it's cool. You could measure and get very exact with yours if you want, but there's my 6 doughs. So I'll take one and I'll just keep these covered up because we don't want them to get crusty. And remember what I said about the holes and your nails and all that stuff. So be as careful as you can. And I think you'd probably be more bulletproof if you put gloves on or something. But for this, I have a little tiny rolling pin. You can use whatever you like. And I'm just going to flatten it out a little bit and I'm going to keep turning. I noticed when I was reading recipes that people get very technical about the how thick the pita is supposed to be. And I can see how that can be important because you obviously don't want it this thick. But really it's all about the air bubbles and not getting it too thin and not having it too thick. So let's call it, I don't know, let's call it 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
So just when I flipped that over, Terry could see, but you couldn't. I had nail grids in it. So, you know.
It's just from picking it up.
It's from picking it up.
You can't avoid it.
I need to be so careful. And I like to pick it up and, you know, toss it around because I want to get it as round as I can. Now I've made some that are oblong because I get in a hurry and I don't, even when I make these now, because Terry asks now pretty continuously, just because it's fresh bread and it's being made and he's eating it within a half hour and it's really delicious. So I get in a rush a lot of times. Like, sure, I can make that. I have, 45 minutes to make something, make a sandwich. And if I have 45 minutes to make a sandwich, I can make these pitas, I can make something to fill them, and I can get this over to Terry within less than an hour, which is pretty incredible. And these are chewy. And
yes.
I just,
yes. Again, the fact that they aren't, not gluten, they're gluten-free, they're nut-free, soy-free, they're just free. And the taste is incredible.
And the taste is incredible. So, and another important aspect is try to get it, you know, not thinner on one side than the other, but don't get out your protractor. It's fine. Everything's gonna work out just fine. Just the biggest thing is the air holes, trying to make it as even as possible. And what's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't puff. Ooh, then you can still use it, and I'll show you, because when you have an eighth of an inch, if you don't want to eat it like a flatbread, fine, or a pita that doesn't have a pocket, that's fine. You can always get a little knife in there, and I'll show you how to do it, because I guarantee you one of these won't puff, because that's just the way it goes.
If it doesn't puff, can't you eat it as like a pita chip?
Well, I had a couple that I had made you yesterday that didn't puff, and I just cut it in half, and I opened it up, and you didn't even know I made pockets out of it.
There you go.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this for every single piece, and I'm gonna take and make it about an eighth of an inch thick. Let's call it 6 inches in diameter. And I'm just gonna put them on a parchment lined sheet here. And I'm just gonna put this over top, another piece of parchment paper to keep it moist. And I'm gonna roll out every single piece just like that. And that gives it time to rest, because again, I don't have a lot of time. Oh, roll them out and let it rest for an hour and a half or whatever. It just, you know, I'm gonna let it rest here while I continue to roll the rest out. And that's where we'll kind of get our resting time in, and we'll go from there. So, gonna continue rolling.
All right, we'll be back.
Okay, so we're almost done with the last pita, which is very exciting. It doesn't take long. They all get to be different shapes and sizes because they're homemade and it's rustic. So that's what's always fun. I wanted to mention that when I was trying to gain my inspiration for making pitas, I couldn't come across one recipe that didn't have oil. Or I'm going to use the pan frying method, because that's the method that just seems to be working for me. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. A lot of people put oil in the pan or a little spray. I'm not using any oil in this. I put a little bit of extra water in for the dough, but I'm not using any oil. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So, if you see here, I have four rolled out pitas underneath the parchment paper. So, 2 on this side. And now I'm just starting to kind of stack them on top. I have 6. I'm not going to dirty another pan or cut more parchment. It's all good. See, this one's kind of oblong, but, it's all good. They taste good. Then I'm going to take the clean towel that I was using to cover the balls, and I'm just going to cover this. And now you just have everything covered. And this is where we're just going to let them sit. If you don't have anything else to do when you're making these pitas, you could just try to start doing them in the skillet. That's fine. I've done it. And then some won't puff, but they'll be really, really good. I'm going to let these sit for a few minutes, and while we let them sit, we're going to go ahead and make the Buffalo Ranch Chickpea Salad.
Yummy.
So we'll just show you how to do that. But you know what? If you're making these pitas and you want to just make them, go ahead and make them. Don't worry about it. But I'm going to try to let those rest for about 15 minutes or so. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, let's make our chickpea salad.
Alrighty, we're ready to make the Buffalo Ranch Chickpea Salad.
Yummy.
Right?
Okay, yes. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously use 2 cans of chickpeas. What are they, 15 ounce or something? 15.5 ounces. Or one big, somewhere near there. So what I like to do, and I've been using a lot lately, is I've been using the aquafaba. I used it for different recipes and stuff, but now I've been using it as an oil replacement. If I work with phyllo dough, or the other day I fried meatballs and I used it. And so I have been really savoring and saving so what I do is I just put it in these little mason jars, just like this.
Oh, perfect.
Right out of the can.
Yeah.
And these chickpeas are low sodium, but if you can't find low sodium, don't worry about it. And then 2 cans always fills up one of these mason jars, and then I just keep it in my fridge, and I use it for whatever I want to use it for. You can do so many wonderful things.
Nice.
And then I just take the cans, and I'm just gonna quickly step over here to the sink and just rinse these really, really good, because we already have the stuff that we want to season our chickpea salad with. So, honey, you can dump that one in the bowl.
Okay.
And we don't really need the salt out of these, even though these are low sodium. But I still like to rinse them real good.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, so then if you want to, so that's what we have. We have 2 cans of chickpeas in a bowl. And I like a potato masher. You can use a fork. But, you know, mash these up a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, if you wanted an exact measurement, say half of them or something like that. Mash them to what you like. But I do like to mash it because it makes the salad a little bit softer.
Okay.
So while Terry is mashing, I'm going to make the mayo that goes on there. This is a nut-free salad, so I'm using a half a cup of sunflower seeds, and I'm going to make this mayo in the NutriBullet really quickly. But this is a half a cup of raw sunflower seeds, so that you don't have the salt and the roasty flavor and all of that comes with the toasted sunflower seeds. And this is 1/3 plus 3 tablespoons of water. So just dump this in here. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Boom. And then this is 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard and 1 teaspoon of miso. I love the white miso, you know, the lighter one. I just use it in everything. So I really like the miso. Apparently when you're using miso, the body doesn't see it the same as it sees sodium, and it processes it totally differently. So it does add a salt component, the miso, but differently the way the body processes it. So that's kind of cool, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so then that's it for, oh, no it's not. Sorry, poop poop. I need the juice of 1 lemon. Thank goodness I have this stuff sitting here. But you'll have the recipe in front of you, so you will know that you need the juice of 1 lemon in here.
I think I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
Oh, yeah, just
Almost
mash to your content. And what makes it, a lot of times when I'm cooking, for some reason I'm rushing. I don't know why. And I love to cook. I wish I could just not rush so much. So I'm just gonna zip it up a little bit like that, get it all kind of incorporated and put it on here and zhuzh it up. Okay, so we let that go for maybe a minute or so, but you'll know because you have mayo when you're done. So I just let it sit in here and chill out until we're ready.
Okay.
Terry mashed, you know, however many.
Yeah, about half.
About half, yeah.
Sure.
So do it to your liking, but that's just the mashed chickpeas, and then we're just gonna put it all together. So what makes it the buffalo is the hot sauce. Now, I've been making this for Terry. The first day was in a big hurry, and I did not have regular Tabasco or hot sauce. This happens to be a Frank's that I picked up yesterday, and this is the first Terry's hearing this. Terry loves this hot sauce.
Old Bay.
With the Old Bay. He is in love with this. He puts it on so much stuff. And this is all I've had on hand to make this chickpea salad. And I've already made it for him a few times since just whenever it was, maybe 2 weeks ago when they went golfing. So I've been using this. When my son called me and said about the Buffalo Ranch Chickpea Salad, he didn't know it was Buffalo Ranch Chickpea Salad. And he said, Mom, your tuna was so good. So tuna, chicken, whatever. But I think he thought it was tuna because it had a little bit of an Old Bay flavor.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he thought it was tuna. I've been making it for Terry that way, and he just craves it. He salivates over it. Today, I'm going to use the regular Frank's, and then I have some left over because I made this for Terry yesterday and he was so excited. We're going to make that again tomorrow. Yay. So we're going to tell you how different they are. Okay. So a 1/4 cup of whatever kind of hot sauce that you like. Okay, 2 teaspoons of tamari. That's your salt. Then 3 tablespoons of tahini. I was having fun on the morning I was putting this together.
I see.
And it got rave reviews.
I see.
So I'm going to go with it. Then I have 2 stalks of celery chopped here. Use as many as you like, but we use 2. This is a half of a sweet onion, just diced.
We'd say about a medium.
Medium. Definitely medium. Thank you for saying that, honey. Half of a medium sweet onion. And then in here, because it's the ranch, I have some dried chives. So in here I have the half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a tablespoon and a half of dried chives.
Okay.
So put all that in there, boom, boom. We don't want to miss any. And then I'm just going to incorporate this just a little bit. And then we're going to dump our mayo on top. And
Smells so good.
that's
Oh,
it. It does
so
smell
good.
great. It does. It makes your cheeks water,
It does.
right?
It does. It does.
Makes my cheeks cry in a good way. All right, so you can dump, honey, the mayo on here. Just,
Okay.
I like to incorporate it a little bit. I don't think it's necessary. You can dump it all in and incorporate it.
Okay.
None of this stuff is critical. Just, you know, make it your way, the way that
Get
you
as much
like
as I
it.
can.
Oh, thank you, honey. Okay, yeah, you can dump that.
Okay.
That's just nice, makes it nice and creamy
Yeah. Wow. Look at
without any nuts or oil. Or, you know, we're keeping this soy-free and nut-free and oil-free and salt-free.
that. Just free, period.
Free of everything. Free
Absolutely.
of gluten. That's why we use tamari.
Not free of taste, I can tell you that.
That's why we use tamari, because that keeps it gluten-free. You know, gluten can sneak into recipes very easy. And then if you have somebody that has an allergy or a serious illness like celiac, then they can't enjoy it.
Right.
So
And even if you aren't gluten-free, I'm telling you, this is unbelievable.
my son is celiac, as you know, and my daughter-in-law, who he's married to, has a major tree nut allergy. So not peanuts, but tree nuts. And so a lot of dressings and stuff in our world are made with cashews and almonds and things that she can't eat, walnuts. And so I do try to be sensitive to that, because we love to share and eat together.
Absolutely.
So,
Wow.
to the best of our ability, we do.
Wow. Again, this smells so good.
And-
So good. Oh my goodness.
Nothing to it, and it is really, really good. I just, buffalo and ranch, and you know, it's so nice to have a salad like this and not using sort of a store-bought vegan mayonnaise that has a ton of fat in it, or a store-bought vegan ranch that also has a lot of not only fat but saturated fat and a lot of additives
Yes.
and things.
Yes.
And to get something this delicious
And wholesome is
is
incredible.
incredible. So there's our salad. It's all done. It's all made. Now all we have to do is make the pitas. Those will take about 2 minutes, and we're ready to go.
All right.
So let's whip those pitas up.
All righty.
All right, so we're over at the stove now. Sorry for the moving around, but what I like to use is a big cast iron skillet. No oil, nothing like that. So the first day that I made these, I was just in a rush. I used a non-stick frying pan. It worked just fine. But the other times that I tried it, it's only been 2 weeks, so you can see how much we like them. I've made them in this cast iron skillet. So I have this on a nice burner. I have this on probably medium high, and I'm waiting to really feel that heat, and I can really feel the heat. You want this to be hot. If it's not hot enough, it's not gonna puff. So let me get the first one out.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then you just take it, and then the top part that was up, I'm just gonna put in the pan. And this really isn't rocket science. It's pretty simple. We're just gonna let it go here for, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute. And you should start to see little bubbles if you didn't make a lot of holes and mistakes.
Oh, I see. I see little bubbles.
Which I'm starting. Let me see if I can pull you guys closer and you can see too. See the little bubbles?
Yeah, I see.
See them coming up?
Yeah.
So that's really working out pretty good.
Working out perfect.
You know? Honey, can you hold this here and I
Sure.
will...
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm trying to really help everybody make the pitas. So I was going to show you a little trick that you could do to sort of force this to puff. But it looks like I use a fork and I just take my hand and I flip it over. And then we can flip this. I'm going to flip this over again. And I'm going to see if it starts to puff. Now, if this doesn't start to puff, like it's not exactly doing now, there might be like an air hole or something, but you can try to force it to puff by pressing on it. See how it's starting to puff? You can force them to puff. So I'm being putting a little bit of pressure, and there it goes.
Wow, that's incredible.
So just a little trick, just in case yours doesn't puff. So I'm kind of glad that didn't work out. So I could show you that, hey, if it doesn't puff, you could use this. You could use a clean tea towel and just press on it and give it a little bit of pressure to puff. And then once it does that, I'm going to take it over and I'm going to flip it again. And you see it puffing nice and big. Yeah. So I'm very excited. I'm sorry I'm so close to the camera. I'm right on top of the camera, but you can see now, and I'm just gonna leave this until my desired brownness, which is probably about 30 seconds or so on that side. And let me flip it over one more time. You can see it's got a couple little brown spots on the top. Sometimes I make them a little bit browner. But that's basically the way it goes. It's all puffed up, nice and puffy and big. Let me see. And really, that's it. Both sides are brown enough. This is done enough for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it over here onto a clean tea towel and let it sit there for a second. And then I'll just throw the next one in because my pan is nice and warm. And that's really how we go. And we do this way for all 6 of them. And you can already see that this is starting to get bubbles. Now I can see there's an air hole right there. So I made a little bit of a hole, but that's okay because we know how to kind of help them along.
Exactly.
So that they puff. But you can see it's puffing. I didn't measure these. I didn't say, oh my gosh, these are this exact width or exact this or exact that. I didn't let them proof for 4 hours and then knead them and let them proof for another 6 hours. I didn't do any of that. You saw, you watched me. So now I'm just gonna flip it over with my fork. We'll see what it does.
But that's what I love about them, honey. I mean, they're homemade.
Yeah.
They're not perfectly round or perfectly circular or whatever, but I can tell you what, they're perfectly good and delicious.
Aww,
so
they are delicious.
These are definitely homemade.
So you can see it's not puffing. So let me see if I can force it. Now they don't. Yep.
There you go.
This one worked. Just
There
move
you
if
go.
it doesn't start to puff.
There
we
you
go. And
wow, that's cool.
yeah, isn't that cool?
That's cool.
And now it's all puffed up. So no stress, no exacting, no, I saw some that said, have the temperature in your kitchen at this many degrees Fahrenheit. And I don't know.
By the boot.
Yeah, we just kind of like winged it and it worked out. So that's basically it. You can do all 6 like this. Honey, let's stand up the camera. Thank you so much. I hope that helped everybody so that you could see kind of how we do it and Sorry, I was so close to the camera. I scared myself. At 52, I should not be that close to the camera. But there we go, perfectly puffed. And these are so, I can't express to you how chewy.
Oh.
They are. I
You'll
think
see.
that's the
You'll
part
see.
that gets me. You get that
Right.
chewy
Right.
sensation.
And it doesn't have gluten.
Yes.
You know,
No oil.
No oil.
Nothing.
You know,
and I didn't
no
have
soy,
to wait.
none of that.
We just started making these.
Yeah.
And the only time they rested is when we were throwing together the chickpea salad.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
All right.
Then what I'm going to do, because I'm going to go ahead and assemble these. But I have them in a tea towel. And you want to keep them, so as you're cooking them, just put them in a towel and they're nice and warm, and you'll keep them soft and moist in here. And then they'll stay, so you can keep them in a nice towel so you keep that moisture in there, because that's how you make the pitas. It's all steam and moisture. That's how it all works. And then you can just put these in like a Ziploc bag and keep it tight, but keep the tea towel. You want to keep something that keeps them moist. And then if they're just not as warm and as pliable as you remember when you first made them, like the next day or the day after that, get like a little water bottle and spray them. I did this for Terry one night. I just sprayed it a little bit on both sides. I didn't drench it, boom, boom, boom. And then I put it back in a skillet, let it sit for, I don't know, 20 seconds or something, and flipped it over, and then I made it warm. And did it taste
It did.
Yeah.
It did. So it tastes just like it was just made. So it was
rejuvenated it. So
yeah.
Here we have a couple pitas. I'll finish the rest when we're done here, but let's go ahead and assemble our sandwich.
Alrighty, I can't wait. All right, we are back and ready to assemble. My favorite part.
Yes, this is awesome. I did forget to put pepper in the last one, and I do add pepper. Terry loves pepper. So fresh pepper to taste. I did about, 6 or 7 cranks in there, and I totally overlooked it when I was making it. The cool part about making this and then making the pitas or whatever is it gives it a minute to sit in the fridge and kind of all come together.
Right.
So even if you made this first before you even started making the pitas, again, not necessarily, necessary. It's not gonna, but it's just kind of nice to let the flavors come together. Okay, so here's our pitas we made, and we are gonna, look at them. And I just want you to see like how pliable they are, and just.
And they taste just as pliable as they are. It's incredible.
I wish you could feel them. They're so soft and just, oh my gosh. But just remember they like moisture, so keep them covered up. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna cut this baby in half. Oh my gosh. And then
the larger half goes to me.
And then show you the inside. See how nice they did. Yes, the larger half will always go to you. The good news is we made 6 of these and we have plenty of salad. So there they are.
Wow. So
I
soft.
keep this pretty simple because the salad has a lot going on and it's really good. We happen to have some really beautiful red leaf lettuce here that Terry washed and dried for me. So I just like to put a piece of lettuce in here on one side. Just kind of, this is what I do. Again, this isn't a science. You do you. Piece of lettuce, and then I'm gonna dig in to this salad and just pile that baby in there. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ha. It's so beautiful. The pitas are so soft, so that's for you, honey.
Okay, thanks, babe.
I think, was that the bigger half?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I just want to make sure. I don't want to get in trouble when we shut the camera off. Angel, the bigger half is mine. No, he would never do that. I'm just joking. And you guys have been watching Terry for years. You know he would never behave that way. I'm actually going to take this extra piece of lettuce.
Okay.
And pile this stuff in here. How about the smell of these pitas? I just can't get over it.
I know. That's what I've been saying. It's incredible.
I can't get over it. I just can't get over it. Okay, we get to taste.
Salud.
Salud.
Okay, here we go. This has moved up to one of my favorites, if not the favorite meal that I love. It's incredible. Incredible.
Delicious. Do you taste any? Oh, hold on. Everybody, time out. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's some leftover. Let me just show you. This is what's left over from yesterday. Yep. It's delicious. Not much in here. So I would like Terry to just take a plain bite of this. Oh, sorry. I just want him to tell you, because I don't know if I taste much different between the Old Bay and this one, but Terry loves that Old Bay, so I want to see if he tastes sort of a difference to tell you that it tastes more Old Bay or not.
Definitely taste more Old Bay, and I prefer the regular to the Old Bay. Yeah.
And that's probably why
both are delicious, don't get me wrong, but
that's probably why Angelo thought that was tuna salad.
Incredible.
So
you guys are gonna love this.
You know what? Just make these pitas and eat them plain, or dip them in hummus, or cut some cucumber in there and put some tzatziki sauce. Oh,
There's so many different ways you can eat them. It's incredible.
They're absolutely delicious, these pitas. So
They are.
we hope you enjoyed this show. It was a lot of fun.
If you like this video, please like this video. We love what we do. We love bringing this stuff to you. If you like us, please
subscribe.
like and subscribe.
It really helps us out.
Absolutely. So
Yep.
I cannot wait to finish eating all 6 of these. I might finish them all today.
You might.
All right, guys. We love you. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.